God is good. Hello, YouTube. We have some exciting news. The tanks of Pantheon Rise of the Fallen have been unveiled, and we have some exciting information for the Warrior, the Paladin, and the Direlord. I originally wanted to do one video going over all three tanks, but as I began creating this video, I quickly realized that this video would be like 30 to 40 minutes long. And that's just not like what I want to do with this channel. So I'm going to be releasing 3 videos, one for each. Today I want to dive into the information we have on the Warrior and discuss it with you, the community, and how this, we think at least, will all play out. And of course my personal opinion obviously is going to be throughout the video as expected. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing to get Pantheon Rise of the Fallen content on our long march to launch. I want to keep you excited, keep you entertained, and keep you informed until launch. Then I can really let loose in-game and we can all discover tournaments together. Alright, let's get to it and discuss and theorycraft with the Warrior. The Warrior is all about physical strength, ability, and resilience. Interestingly to me, is that the official website states, however he/she is not content with fortitude alone, but refines his/her mind as well. A warrior using his or her brain? What? I'm just kidding, guys. As we go through the Warrior, it becomes very clear that the top tier warriors, the ones who truly devote themselves to learning this class, are going to be absolute beasts on the battlefield. I mean, the ridiculous meter on warriors is going to explode. Anyway, the Warrior is listed as tank and utility, and the main resource for the Warrior is going to be battle points. Battle points will be gained during combat, and then the Warrior will use them to pull off heroic feats. Does this mean that being out of combat for too long will result in the battle points decreasing? I mean, Pantheon Rise of the Fallen is going to have some downtime. I wonder if with the expected bit of downtime to allow healers, casters to regen mana, if the battle points will slowly drain that regained during the fight. I assume that this will be the case, and depending on how the feats relate to global cooldowns, if at all, this could alter the way a warrior behaves and definitely cause some strategical thinking on the player's part on either blowing through the battle points because you see that the mana is getting low on your healers or casters. So since the battle points are going to all drain while resting anyway, why not go on and blast through them and allow your casters to go ahead and take a break on the last mob, decreasing downtime maybe. We shall see, but moving on with the Warrior, as to be expected, the Warrior will have full plate armor. It can use all weapons, but with the moveset are definitely geared for one-hand weapon and a shield. Of course, we are going to see two-hand warriors going for more DPS, but as we get into the announced movesets and abilities, it becomes abundantly clear that the shield is going to make up a huge portion of the playstyle of the Warrior. So let's have a look. We'll start with Warhorn. So this ability can inflict fear and causes mobs to face you. This sounds like an AoE aggro grabber. So in situations where there are multiple mobs that need to all focus on the tank, the Warhorn ability will gather them to you. As far as the fear part of it though, since Pantheon features the disposition system, I foresee that inflicting fear could have multiple effects depending on the disposition of the mob. If the mob is a fleer type, inflicting fear could detach the mob from the group entirely, having it run off in literal fear. Of course, the mob is if the mob is a call for help type disposition, if it's inflicted with fear, it is going to do what most of us would do in that type of situation, which is start yelling for help, getting the attention of even more mobs. So as we talk about all the time on this channel, this is going to require some strategy, as it's not going to be as simple as just bam, I got all aggro by clicky this ability. You see what I'm saying. Moving on to Storm. This charges you at your target, stunning them briefly, and can only be used out of combat. You will not be using this ability to rush over and peel a mob off your healer. This will be more for getting to a mob in the initial beginning stages of the fight. This could be beneficial if, say, for example, a mob immediately begins to flee before you engage them. You can catch them before they get to another group of mobs, causing way too many adds for your group to handle. It's also worth noting that this ability grants you 1 battle point. This makes it almost a go-to for an initial pull in most scenarios, or a simple ability to start off with better aggro and a chance to grab some initial aggro and stun the ability long enough to knock down some health. Okay, moving on to War Hero. Now here is your ability to use during combat, when your healer backs up into a mob or gets the attention of a mob, etc. This leaps you to that target up to 8 meters away and snaps some aggro back to you and off of the mob's target, and if you have high charisma, this ability will also cause the target you peeled the aggro off of to cause less hate for a period of time. But this one consumes 1 battle point. This will be a great ability for grabbing sudden adds, peeling them off your squishy group members, etc. Close the Gap. Alright, so this ability leaps you to an add up to 8 meters away, but unlike Storm, this ability is usable only in combat. But like Storm, it also grants you a battle point. But unlike War Hero, it doesn't appear to have any granted hate besides the amount given upon the attack of said mob. Looking at this, it appears its most obvious use will be to grab a wandering mob getting close to the group before it has a chance to aggro upon sight, or to grab up a mob that is incoming from the disposition of a mob calling for help, perhaps. Tanks will be rewarded with a battle point for using it too, so good tank, here's a treat. Will to Live. This increases your resilience to full, and increases your dodge and parry, and increases any healing you receive. This consumes 1 battle point. So here's your chance to give your healer a chance to catch up and make better use of their mana spent, as each heal will literally heal better for the duration of the effect. Healers need you to make good use of this, please. This ability will undoubtedly save thousands of groups from wipes when used correctly. Resilient Leader. This is a passive ability and simply means that as the warrior is healed, he regains resilience and becomes tougher simply from receiving heals. Very nice. Okay, so I'm going to come back to the Battering Ram ability later. First, I want to talk about the various battle formations that the warrior can do. So basically, battle formations are a way for the warrior to react to various tanky situations. So a warrior that knows these formations like the back of his or her hand and is familiar with what is going on in real time can quickly react and turn the tides of battle. Let's have a look. Okay, so battle formation number 1, Conquest. This costs 1 battle point and is designed for when an enemy begins to flee. In other words, the mob's disposition is like a cowardly little yellow belly and he begins to break away to get the heck out of there. The warrior goes into Conquest battle formation and his or her group's melee speed and spell casting speed goes up, allowing them to try to finish off the little coward before he can get away. Awesome. Don't lose that XP, guys. Take it down. Battle formation number 2, Unyielding. It costs 1 battle point and is designed for when there are 3 or more enemies. In a game like Pantheon, especially at lower levels, this is what I like to call a test of the healer situation. As you probably didn't intend to have 3 or more mobs on you, they rooted or wandered in, or the mob called for help. Whatever caused you to get in this situation, Mighty Warrior, Unyielding will increase the armor rating for your entire group and transfer some unknown percentage of damage your group is receiving back to you, the warrior. This could buy you the time you need to spam that war horn and get all the aggro on you, or perhaps not. Perhaps in this scenario just help your group survive long enough for crowd control to take care of the adds. In any case, warrior, don't forget this ability and its use. Battle formation number 3, Regroup. It costs 1 battle point. Alright, so this one is really cool. It is designed for when a member of your group is dead. In other words, it's a bad situation. We got a man down, the healer might be casting res and you just need to buy a little time, or maybe your healer is the one who is dead and you just need to get the heck out of there. Regroup increases you and your group's movement speed and also refreshes your cooldowns as well as refreshes your defensive target's cooldowns. Regroup, guys, and we can go back for the res on the dead party member. We will live to fight another day. Now, let's talk about Battering Ram, which is the announced, at least so far, ability for the warrior that gives the warrior some swag. This will bring down barriers in the environment. The higher the strength of the warrior, the more stuff you can break. This is so interesting because this opens up some exploration options for your group to skip around areas, or to bust down a cracked wall, find a new area to camp and get XP, or who knows where else this ability can lead us. Very, very cool. Alright, I would be completely satisfied, honestly, if this was the warrior. And he just had some more, like, fighting action, abilities as far as attacks go, and that was pretty much all they could do. But there is more. There's actually a lot more already announced. Okay, so let's talk about war banners now. Think of these as AoE benefits or even detriments to the foes. The warrior plants down one of these banners on the area of the battle, and he or she and his or her group gets the benefits. Number 1, Challenger's Banner. This is great for melees as it increases their resource regen, so they can cause more DPS and slap out their damage abilities faster. Think of it as making the endurance tick up while in the area of effect. But that's not all. It also causes some effects for you, warrior. Your resilience ticks up, and how much it ticks up depends on your constitution stat. Also, this banner causes your attacks to generate more hate. Number 2, Banner of Arms. This increases the chance of hitting with melee. In other words, you and your melee buddies will miss less and connect more as long as they're within range of the banner. Number 3, Shieldman's Banner. Increasing your shield blocking. Simple, to the point, nothing more to see here. Number 4, Rallying Banner. This one is all about the crowd control. It increases the effects of your group's crowd control and decreases the effect of your enemy's crowd control. All huddle up in the banner now and let's get these mobs under control. Number 5, Banner of Onslaught. This increases the physical critical hits chance and damage for melee, and your enemies become more vulnerable to physical damage. That's awesome. Number 6, Banner of Havoc. This makes your enemies' ranged attacks less likely to connect and to miss more when in the range of this banner. Alright, okay, so now I'm sure you're thinking that's a lot of things a warrior can do for himself and for his party, a lot of utility. I'm not even done yet because warriors also get battle cries. These are more for the warrior himself, so let's dive in. Number 1, Howl of the Warrior. Okay, so after a critical strike, you are then granted another automatic critical strike, and you also get a dot on the enemy in the form of making the enemy bleed. You also gain a battle point. Sweet. Number 2, Breaker's Roar. This one consumes a battle point, but breaks you free of crowd control effects and makes you immune to crowd control for a period of time. Very useful. Number 3, Rageful Shout. Okay, so this is going to be extremely useful in my opinion. This ability allows the warrior to use taunt without a cooldown for a short period of time. So get to it, warrior, grab those ads, get that aggro. Now let's talk about the warrior's melee abilities. We'll start with the most obvious, taunt. Of course, this is a classic taunt, grab some aggro, we all know about this one. Shield Slam gives you a battle point, and you can stun your enemy, interrupt their spell casting, and chance, depending on dexterity, strength, and shield mastery, it's RNG if you stun them or not. Shield Block. The warrior raises a shield and dramatically decreases incoming damage for 2 seconds. So this is your classic pop-up for tank buster attacks, etc. And certain shields with certain properties can also deflect magical damage as well. Wall of Shields. So this one is really cool because it rewards a group of multiple warriors in the group. With this ability, incites enemies in a 12-meter radius to focus on you and your other warrior pal. It uses 3 battle points, but could definitely turn the tide of battle and definitely make the warrior a need for raids and mechanics. Angering Blow. So using this attack will provoke the foe, but for a short period of time, any additional damage you do following Angering Blow will have increased hate. Strike of Breaking. This lowers the mob's physical mitigation and grants a battle point. Now stab him in the butt, rogue. Shoulder Crash. A close range attack that is designed to be used when the foe has 30% or less health, restoring some resilience, increasing strength, and restoring 20% of the warrior's overall health. Alright, so that is the warrior all broken down with all the information given to us so far. And I believe the warrior will be the true tank of all 3. I think the warrior will be the first pick in raids and necessary in most in-game content. The utility for the warrior is way better than I thought it would be, and is shaping up to be possibly the coolest warrior class in all of MMORPG history. I hope, as I was going through those, that you noticed how the battle points are rewarded for being a good tank, for doing your class correctly. This means that not only will a good warrior be good because they are good, They will be rewarded for being good and allowing them to get battle points quicker and then making them an even better warrior. Healers are going to love warriors. Melee are going to love warriors. This is going to be a loved tank. I hope that you can see, we talk about the strategic combat, and that combat in Pantheon isn't Twitch-based, but strategical, and those that strategize and think things through, that keep a calm head, remain cool, even when things get tense, will pull through some amazing situations. I think the warrior very well points out how the combat is going to play out in Pantheon, and it has me insanely excited. Are any of you planning on being a warrior? Were some of you not thinking of being a warrior until you saw all the utility that they have? Do you agree that Visionary Realms has really put their thinking cap on to make warriors something really fierce and fantastical? Here in a day or so, I'm going to dive into Paladin, which is what I plan on playing, and I know many of you also want to play. We'll break it down as well. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Please throw me some love, a like, a comment, a tattoo, whatever you feel is necessary, and please consider subscribing to my channel for more Pantheon content. God bless, and happy gaming.